Jesus Christ, you people suck.
Wow.
Wolverine wanted to be in.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time for another week. N4G Radio. This is episode 652 for May 17th, 2021. And on the show this week we have Anthony.
Hello.
And we have Ryan.
Word up.
Word up. And that's it. Drew responded to me first.
Fuck you, Ken.
Did he respond and say he was coming?
Nope, he's not coming.
God damn
Oh,
it.
yeah.
You know, 3 minutes after the show starts, it's good that he gets back to me in a timely manner. Anyway, so yeah, I spent like 15 minutes before the show because I've got, so a company called Movo sent me one of those, fancy mics.
A
Yeah.
fancy
A
mic.
fancy mic, and I've had it for 2 weeks, and I feel bad because I haven't talked about it, but I've been trying to get it to work, and all respect out to people out there who do audio work. It is the most headache-inducing bullshit that you will ever mess with. And I thought I had it working today, and Anthony and I were doing like a little test before the show, and Audacity dropped about 30 seconds of the audio because I was
Weird.
Yeah, so in order to get the mic and the Discord audio, I had to run a third-party app that would pull my mic audio and the Discord audio into one channel. And apparently with that thing running, Audacity running, Google Chrome running, and Discord running, my computer was like,
It was like, nope, we're good.
Yeah, so it
Well,
was
you
like,
got a pretty beefy computer too, right? So,
right. So it's like, how much audio processing power does it take to pull two audio channels into one?
I'm thinking it's more of that Google Chrome just eats resources.
Yeah, Google Chrome is crazy.
It is, but I can run RetroArch, like upscaling to 4K with fucking Google Chrome running. So apparently audio is stronger than emulation.
Sounds like a good album title.
I know, right? We should totally make that album. Totally make that album.
Industrial trance 8-bit metal.
I'm down.
That's the genre.
Maybe I can use the mic to record the guitar tracks, because it would just be one.
There you go.
It would just be one audio track.
Yep.
Of course, it's been 15 years since I played pretty regular guitar, so my fingers are probably bleeding.
Yeah. Same.
Yeah, it sucks too because I got them mounted on my wall. I put my two guitars, I mounted them on the wall, and every time I look at them, I'm like, I would love to play, but it's loud, and I have kid.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got a piano, and it's been, I don't know, 20 years since I consistently played piano, and so it's nice though because it gives me an excuse to mess around with it.
I will tell you that there are so many nights I lay in bed and I think about how much I miss playing music.
Yeah.
I loved playing music. I started playing when I was like 14, 15 years old, and I absolutely fucking loved it. And I played for probably 7 to 10 years, and
Yep.
then I just stopped, and I haven't touched it in so many years, and I miss it.
Yeah, I played piano in high school and played guitar just at the end of high school and all through college, and then just fell off.
Yeah. I'll tell
Didn't
you,
practice anymore, and if you stop practicing, the whole thing falls apart.
it does, and I'll tell you the thing I miss the most, and was one of the best workouts you'll ever have in your life, is playing drums. Drums is so fun.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And God, you get a workout when you're playing drums. I miss it. But then, you live in suburban America with a child and neighbors, and you can't play drums anymore because just not feasible.
Yeah, we're
Anyway,
gonna see if we got they got a thing coming up at Monroe where you can the kids for band can check out the instruments and stuff and see if there's an instrument they would be interested in playing in band. So we're gonna see if my son has any interest in band.
oh, that's cool. I was in band in elementary school, so I love it. Love music. Miss it. But this is not a musical podcast. This is a video game podcast.
It could be. We can make it a music podcast if you want.
Yeah, two guys who haven't played in over a decade
Sure.
talking about music. Oh shit, that's funny.
I think there's a lot of people over the years that have proved you don't have to be good at something to talk about it.
This is true. This is very true. I mean, we're not good at video games, but we talk about those for
That's 100% true.
15.
I ain't been good at video games in 30 years.
Yeah, we've been talking about them for 15, so I mean, that's a long time to suck at something.
It's true.
But we'll talk about video games. Anthony, I'll start with you.
Sure. Finally finished up my Mighty Fight Federation review. I'm gonna just say, like, that game has a lot of charm, but boy, it is so broken on the balancing side of things that as soon as I found a character that could stun lock you, like, the game broke. Like, I shouldn't be able to finish the final boss of a story mode or whatever, arcade mode, whatever you want to call it, without taking a single hit. That's exactly what I did. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it's at the point where it's like, that character needs to be changed so much that you can't even just change the amount of damage it does. It's like that character has to be reworked. So they still haven't put out Kunio and Ricky from the River City games and Miriam from Bloodstained yet, but it's like there's no point of playing as those characters when there's two characters that are pretty broken. However, Originelle is the one that I was playing as. She's the one that has this extremely powerful, like, laser moveset that allows you to do damage from a distance and then just jump and shoot the laser straight down below you, so you can just jump as your opponent's on the ground and getting back up. As long as you jump and time it right, you can knock them right back to the ground. And then the other one, I remember his name, but it shortens to CEO. And he has an attack that does a percentile of your health, and it's so large that it kind of breaks that move, or breaks the combat against him. And his you can fix. Hers you can't. So it'll be interesting to see if they do anything about it. I don't think they will, but whatever.
I mean, it's not an Evo or anything. So
No, exactly. It's like the first time I've really noticed that in a video game, though, that like a character was so far ahead of all the other like playable characters that it fundamentally broke the illusion of choice there.
you clearly did not play Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
No, I've never played Mortal Kombat Trilogy.
Yeah.
I know, I've heard.
Yeah, that game is so fucking busted.
That was because it was every version of every character from all three of the games, right?
It was that, and the boss characters were playable. And then when they brought like the MK1 and 2 characters into the game, they basically gave them like infinite fucking combos. Where you just mash the high punch button, and I think Kano would do like a 60% damage combo.
Yeah. Well, that's very similar to this then. Yep. This is the first time I've really noticed it. I've heard about that, but I've never played it, so I can't speak.
I mean, I give Mortal Kombat Trilogy a little leeway because it is, like 60 characters or some dumb shit like that.
It's also kind of a ROM hack, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's a mashing of 3 games together, which obviously there's a reason why the next version would do refinements on characters and the like. There's a Drew sent it to me, the Street Fighter collection on PS2, the Street Fighter 2
Yep.
anniversary version has some of the same issues from my understanding.
Yeah, those were never designed
It
to be like
does, yeah.
tournament fighting games.
Right.
No.
So
Yeah, it's just like this is what kills me about this game though is that like the music and the design of the characters is so well thought out. Like Original has this like angel design, but it's clearly meant to be making fun of like cosplayers. Like every character's sort of making fun of a different group of people. The dude bros that drink energy drinks and wear the tank tops and the backwards cap and the sunglasses.
Isn't
Like
that
they
the
have
werewolf?
the werewolf. Canadians are made fun of by the guy who's the Canadian Prime Minister who defeats crime by roaming the streets at night and beating up anyone that does crime.
That's not very Canadian.
No, I think that's the point. Yeah, but like it just, when the game doesn't work like you want it to, and or how I think they expect it to. And honestly, I wouldn't have noticed, but the computer character was stun locking me, and that's when I went, "Oh, I wonder if I can do that." And sure enough, I can. So
Well, at least it's a level playing ground.
I suppose. I played some more Pokemon Snap.
Snap.
Still need to play more of it to write a review. And played a bit of a game I can't talk about yet. It's a Switch port.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah. And then I've only played one of them, but I'm playing the Famicom Detective series. They did a ton of work on this.
I mean, they'd have to. Those were very old games.
No, I mean more than I thought I would get out of a visual novel, even. Now, it's not, when I say animated, there you can see that it's like motion tweened and not, so like looks a little bit more like Flash animation and certain things. It moves a little bit different than you'd expect normal animation to. But it's fully voice acted in Japanese, mind you. But it's still fully voice acted. There's a lot of animation. It's not just static images, is kind of what I'm saying. Like, even when you look at Ace Attorney, which I think is probably the most popular in the style like this, it's a static image. The character sometimes changes pose, their lips and move, their eyes blink, but that's kind of it. That is not the case with the characters in this. They're not 3D, they're still 2D animated, but just the attention to detail as well. The opening scene of one of them, you're in a diner, and one of the characters is talking, and then you can see in the background there's like another patron in this little coffee shop or whatever. And you can sort of hear her talking to the waitress. And I know that's a small thing, but it's a small detail that didn't need to be there, but it's there. I'm really impressed with how great the art looks. I thought there was 4 games in the detective series, but I'm incorrect. It's actually 2 games, and each had 2 parts. So both of them have already been translated fully. And they have a sort of it's the same character throughout the games. One of them was the one I'm playing it was actually the second game released, which is a prequel. So I guess I'm playing them in the order the story happens. But regardless of what you choose in the Switch version, when you name your character, you have the option of looking for save data, and it'll just bring your character's name over automatically. Which is neat. Unnecessary, but neat. Yeah, so far it's a pretty standard fare for an adventure game. Just don't expect it to be touch-based, I think is the important part. It plays with a menu system, so it's look at, talk to, And then there's one that just says quit investigation, which I don't know why that option's there, but okay.
Maybe
Just
you're just
give
done. You don't want to do no more
Um,
investigating.
But yeah, I'm really impressed with how much work went in. And another small detail that isn't sort of shown right away. If you go into the options menu, you can switch between the music they did for this version, or the Famicom original, or the Super Famicom version, which is more accurate to the new music that they wrote. But yeah, I think that's awesome. I think like I'm surprised how much work has gone into this series, especially in the fact that they translated stuff. Now, obviously, I don't have the Japanese version to look at, but like posters on the wall of the cafe were in English. So I don't know if they went and redid all that too, or if it's just in English for this version. But so far, so good. I'm enjoying it. That's it for me.
That's it.
Figured the silence was enough, but then it just dwelled a little long.
Oh no, you have to put your kibosh on it. You know.
All right, well, it's over.
Okay. See, that's that. Now, immediately, audio continues. Come on now. All right. We'll move over to the Womber.
All right. So since the last time I was on the podcast, I've played a couple things. So I did pick up the as promised, the DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I have not actually gone to Ireland yet. I haven't played much of it. And there's a like a smaller mission that basically centers on the story of Beowulf and Grendel that comes with the DLC before you get to Ireland. And so I've been playing through that. And it's good. It's still Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So there's not a whole lot of new to talk about. I'm sure next week after I've played some of Ireland, I'll have more to talk about. But for now, I'm still in England. So and then what I played, well, I've got a couple things on the way, unfortunately, that I haven't had a chance to play yet. But I did pick up Hitman 3 on the GameFly sale. And so that's on its way. I should have that next week. I'll have that to talk about. I've got a lot of stuff to talk about next week. But probably the thing that I spent the most time playing this week was another game that I picked up on sale, and that is Paper Mario: The Origami King.
Oh, it was on sale? I have not seen that thing go on sale yet.
It was on sale on both Amazon and at Best Buy and at Target, actually, for $45.99.
I'm still a little hesitant at that price.
It's really good so far. So I'm playing it with my son, so it's not a game that I'm just like powering through on my own.
Mhm.
But it's really, really fun. I like the battle system. It's got a neat little sort of puzzle mechanic at the beginning, where you have to line up the enemies. So the enemies are on a like a series of discs, and you have to line them up before they start lined up, and then they scramble themselves, and you get a certain number of moves to line them up in a couple different patterns depending on the weapon that you want to use. And if you line them up before the battle starts, you get basically 1.5 times your attack power. The humor's great still, just like all the other Paper Mario games. The dialogue's really good. It's got, all the normal stuff you would expect out of a Paper Mario game. So I'm really digging it so far. But we're not super far into it. We're probably 4 or 5 hours in. Maybe not even that long. Probably 4 hours in, I guess. But it's really fun so far. I'm really digging that. And that's really it. I really haven't played much else.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff out, but most of it is not your jam.
Yeah, the next couple things on my list are Ratchet and Clank and Dark Alliance. So, which I'm sure we'll talk about in the moves.
Yeah,
in the news. Yeah.
In the moves. I like the moves. It's
In the moves.
News for cows. I like that.
Yeah. I got I'm a little conflicted. because I would like to play it on next gen, but I would also like to play it with other people. So
Well, to be fair, it is not optimized, so there is that.
yeah,
I think it's just a PS4 or Xbox One game. So
it is. But generally speaking, even with the PS4 to PS5 games, the load times are better on the PS5. But I don't even know what the load times are going to be in the game, so it may not even matter.
yeah, I mean everything's gonna be faster on that NVMe. That's for
Right.
show.
For show. But yeah, that's it.
All right. I only played one big boy. I'm still playing Biomutant, and I still can't talk about it. That is not even next week.
Oh yeah. I was going to say I wasn't here for last week, and I'm interested in that. But obviously, if you can't talk about it, you can't talk about it.
Yeah, I think that the embargo on that is the 25th, so
Jeez.
I can't even talk about it next week. That one's a ways out. I played some more Outriders, just messing around. Booted up Remnant from the ashes with the new 60 frames per second patch, and that game is nice and buttery smooth. It still kicks my ass on a regular basis. I downloaded that game, the Games with Gold, the Dungeons 3. I had no idea what kind of game it was, and I booted it up, and it's kind of like a it almost feels like a real-time strategy. Like, remember Warcraft with the heroes?
Yep.
Kind of that, where you were moving one character around and they had powers, and it just wasn't my jam. I was like, nah, I think I'm good. Run through the indie games real quick. Play a game called Rift Raccoon, which is the newest East Asia game. Basically, you play like this raccoon that had some weird experiments done on him, and he could like shift through walls. So it's basically like a level by level puzzle game where you got to learn, the platforming plus the shifting to get past obstacles. It's okay. It's all right. Rest of a Stone Buddha is the new game from the guy that made Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. And this game is weird. It's the same art style where it's like the pixelated side-scrolling kind of action. It is on a single plane, so it's not like you can move up and down. But think of it like those dramatic sequences in like gangster movies where the dude is just like walking forward and just like John Wicking everybody, like he's just shooting like massive amounts of people. And you just grab a gun and then like you can shoot in front and behind, and like he'll put the gun like under his arm and shoot behind him, and like he'll do like little moves like you can kick people and take their guns. And it's just got like this really like dark music playing in the background, and like literally it is just you moving from right to left, so you're going backwards, and just shooting people. Like I played through the first 2 levels and there was literally just like hundreds of bodies laying on the ground. He just killed people. And like the only mechanic so far is that you can shoot in front behind, you can tap down to duck under bullets, and then you can press the Y button to like kick them and take their gun away from them. And that's really all there kind of is so far. So,
I'm looking at it on Steam because it came out apparently on PC last year.
mm-hmm.
And it looks like it has those same sort of like moment-to-moment life stuff like Ringo Ishikawa did.
Mm-hmm.
With dialogue and stuff, but for the most part, all the screenshots are just shooting guns.
Just the dude walking and shooting people. Like literally, the first thing you do is walk up to a guy who's in church praying, and you shoot him in the back of the head. That's how the game starts.
Yep, that's a picture here.
Yeah, it's a weird game. I don't know how I feel about it. Death Crown was a hexagonal strategy game that's done in like pencil art style. The art style was the most interesting part of it. I'm not a, hexagonal strategy kind of guy, so it wasn't my jam. Exo Demon is a first-person game where it's like really fast and like you have a melee attack to start, and then eventually you get like this thing that you can shoot out of your other hand, and it reminds me a lot of like old like 90s FPS games. It's real fast, real polygonal. Lots of very sharp edge artwork. Plays really well. Like, it feels really good to play. Quantum Replica is a 3/4 perspective top-down stealth game that is actually very well done. If you're into those kind of stealth. Like, I don't know if you remember when Square Enix licensed out the Fear Effect IP and let...
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, like, that game was bad, but think of that style, but executed well. And you kind of get what Quantum Replica is. Rabisco Plus is the most mindless game where you're just running this little blob and collecting stars, and I have never played anything that had absolutely no... Like, there's no death, there's no challenge. You literally just roll a blob to pick up stars and break through walls. Retro Machina is another 3/4 perspective game where you're basically playing as Clank. I mean, he looks just like fucking Clank. But he's a robot that was working in a factory. He, like, realized that he didn't want to do that anymore, so he, like, escaped from the factory. And then the game has you going to repair the robot, so kind of think of it like a Metroidvania where you pick up power-ups to be able to do new abilities, which in the first part of it, he can, like, take control of other robots and run them into things to break through barriers, to open doors. It's actually very well done. The art style is really nice, but yeah, it's a really good game. And then I think that's all for the indies. So now let's talk about. So I got Mass Effect on Thursday, I think, and I was like, I had the Anthony mentality of like, oh man, this is an easy review. I'll boot up each game.
I like that it's called the Anthony mentality.
I say that because you mentioned that recently about another game, I think.
Yeah, the game I can't... Can I say what game it is?
I sent you all the information. I don't think they say that we can't say that we're playing it.
Give me... Alright,
I mean, it's a port of a fucking, like, AA game. I'm sure it's fine.
I'm just gonna double check, because I don't want to get in trouble.
But I figured I'd play each game for a half hour, kind of feel how they're different from the originals, and move on. And I said that, and now I'm 10 hours into a playthrough of Mass Effect 1.
Well, I could have told you that was going to happen with Mass Effect.
So, Mass Effect 1 is obviously going to be the biggest kind of different experience, because if you remember, we talk about this a lot, if you try to go back and play that original Mass Effect, it is hard to play. It's got that kind of RNG, like dice roll attack, so when you shoot somebody, it might hit them. It might not.
I think the worst part of that game is the sniper. There's like a sniper class. Don't choose that class. It doesn't work.
Well, it does now.
Because the scope doesn't look like it's trying to draw an oval on the screen.
Nope. So this game is now a third-person shooter, like the second and the third game. Like, they've completely redone it to where it...
Oh, gonna double dip. Fuck, god damn it.
And we've talked about this, I mean, since this podcast started. We talked about that. The first Mass Effect, in my opinion, is still one of the most epic space opera stories you will ever play.
For sure.
And, like, as soon as you get back in it, so it only takes you about a half hour to get to the Citadel. And that was where I was like...
5 or 6 hours in the Citadel.
Exactly. Like, as soon as I got there, I was like, okay, well, I've played a lot of Mass Effect 1, so I think I'm good. And then I just kept playing. I kept playing. I'm already on Novaria. And I'm like,
nice.
I'm into where the Rachni's are, and, like, I'm down in, like, I'm almost to the Matriarch.
Nice.
So, I'm like, wow, yeah, okay. We're going to replay Mass Effect.
Yeah, I love that game.
It's so good, and being able to see it now with these visuals, man. Oh man.
Yeah, the book that came out before the first Mass Effect that sets up Saren and sort of his backstory was also really good.
Yeah, it's funny. I've already done the I was just exploring and I accidentally stumbled onto the Bring Down the Sky mission. I've already completed it.
Oh, nice.
So it was like I landed on this asteroid. I'm like, oh yeah, this was DLC. I'm like, oh, it's it. Oh, I did it like the second mission. All right, I've already got all my my partners.
Nice.
So it's like I've got a full crew. I've already done 5 missions. Like I'm like switching party members. I've already done the 5 missions with everybody except for Liara. So I'm
Nice.
like I'm fully invested back into Mass Effect, and it looks a lot better. Like I said, it plays like a third-person shooter. It's also still Mass Effect. So I have run into some really weird glitches while I've been playing. I had one where I was doing the Bring Down the Sky mission, and I get to the end where you have to go down, because I took the path where I didn't kill the people, and I said I would go take care of Bat, whatever his name was. So I went to the main area, and I got out of the Mako, which, by the way, now controls very well.
Good.
So I got out of the Mako. There's the entrance to the underground facility. The A button prompt pops up, but every time you press it, nothing happens. I'm like, well, maybe if I get in and out of the Mako, that'll fix it. So I tried to get back in the Mako. That button prompt don't even show up. So I literally saved, reloaded, and then it worked. So there's definitely some Mass Effect bugs all up in there. But like visually, it looks fantastic. Being on the Series X on that internal hard drive, like the elevators, literally as soon as you get in and it starts moving, it says press A to skip. So like,
Nice.
yeah, you do not have to wait on the elevators. God, the performances in this game, every alien on the Citadel is so well voiced and interesting, and I had forgotten how much I love Mass Effect. And being able to have all 3 games and being able to play through them with your main character that you create in Mass Effect 1. It might take me 2 weeks to review this because I might just play through all 3 of them again. I mean, I feel like it's one of those good movies or TV series, like when you start it over and you just can't, you're like, oh man, I remember how good this was. The next thing you know, you've binged 2 seasons. It's kind of how I feel.
Nice.
So, yeah, Mass Effect is back, and it was so wonderful to like read the Twitter discourse of people who have never played the game, and they don't like they've ever heard is how good Mass Effect was, but they never played it, and now they jump into it on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and Series, are just like, wow, like why have I never played these games?
Yeah.
So, if you've never played it, pick this up. If you have played it and you need an excuse to play it again, pick up this version. I mean, all 3 of those games, you will get so much out of it. And also, there has not been, like, playing this, when I played Andromeda, I was so far removed from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 that I was like, Andromeda's fine. This game shits all over Andromeda.
Yeah.
Man, we have not had a game of this game's caliber, like a proper BioWare story-driven RPG in so long that it just feels so good.
Not since Dragon Age Inquisition.
And even that wasn't as good as this.
That's true. Yeah.
Like,
It's true.
like this, like if you remember, like you go from Neverwinter to KOTOR to Mass Effect to Dragon Age, the first one, and you're just like,
Right.
man, that is peak BioWare.
For sure.
So, and I feel like we've gone down since then. What's funny is when you boot up this game, BioWare now has like one of those Marvel logos.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it totally does the whole like the BioWare logo, and then it like flashes through a bunch of the characters from Mass Effect. I'm like, come on, man. Why is everybody got to try to steal the Marvel logo? Sony did it, Microsoft did it, now BioWare's doing it. Stop it. Anyway, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is amazing. That's
I looked it up. I have Maneater for
Yes.
Switch. There.
Maneater for Switch, which we both chuckled about when the code came in. I'm like, man, I just kind of want to see it, you know?
Yeah.
Because that game is so good. But
And that's when I said, "Oh, this will be an easy review."
like I've already played this
It's
game.
not. It's the only time I've done that. I've never before said this will be an easy review on some because I've already played the game.
Anthony,
It's only with Maneater.
I'm 40 plus, so the best you're going to get out of me is this week.
I mean, it was just like I was thinking, like Ni no Kuni. No, I did extensive like look at that. Like,
Oh, I also played a little more Near Replicant, and
I
goddamn,
still
is that a
need to.
360 era game? That game is so hard for me to play, and it's not because it's not a good game. It's because I spend so much fucking time walking
Casey.
back and forth, back and forth, back and
Well,
forth.
all the people that want a Far Cry 2 remaster,
No, you
myself
do not.
included.
No,
yeah,
you
no,
do
you
not.
don't.
I had my
Like, I
car
want-
break down in
want-
that.
You want what you remember of Far Cry, which is the cool stuff. But when you did, because I played that game not too long ago, to completion, and was like, yeah, this is exactly what I remembered, except for the back and fucking forth on the map.
So
Get a job on one side of the map, walk to the other side of the map.
I fucking drove a car out to the edge of the map, and the car broke down. And there's no
Yep.
fast travel in that game.
Nope.
So I had to walk all the way back.
Yep. And that's what Nier does.
Yeah,
Walk
near.
all the way across the map.
I did the side quest recently where the man thinks his wife has disappeared, and you got to walk all the way across the map just to realize that the shade had her bag, and then walk all the way back, and then listen to them argue for a half hour, and then walk all the way back. Oh my god, that mission took me like 45 minutes, and I completed one quest.
Did you see his suggestions for Monster Hunter?
I saw the discourse about it, but I did not read it.
It's the funniest shit. It's just such a Yoko Taro. We're gonna fucking punish the player emotionally
I mean,
for killing the big monsters.
why not?
The village burns down. Everybody turns on you. Oh yeah.
Get weird
It's
with
just
it.
like, I mean, listen, I love his take on other things, but I'm like, this actually sounds miserable. I'm not a Monster Hunter person, but this is to the point where it's like, even this is like, I can't get on board, Yoko. Sorry, you could sell me on it up until the point where it became like unplayable unless you're playing with other people and you got no rewards because they were punishing you for killing a bunch of monsters. It's a good article. Everybody should read that.
I think I saw somebody tweet like Monster Hunter was already miserable. Why would I want it to be more miserable?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's coming out this week. It's a relatively quiet week. We've got if you've got one of them new machines, we got a couple games coming out. You got Aerial Knights Never Yield,
One of the newfangled ones.
one of them newfangled ones that you can't even buy because fuck scalpers. Crossroads Inn, Outbreak Endless Nightmare, Rise of the Slime, The Wild at Heart. Can't Drive This.
Do 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 do.
Void TRLM parentheses plus plus slash slash void terrarium plus plus. You follow all
There
that?
we go.
Sorry, there's a semicolon in there too. In case you
I
didn't-
appreciate the semicolon.
Yeah, me too.
It's better than the other game by them, which is H. Tolnick.
Sure. Why do people make weird names for games? I don't get it.
It's that studio. That studio that did Yomatawari Night Alone or whatever.
Well, there's also like
Yomawari.
Valhalla, which is spelled with numbers, right?
That one is
Mhm.
because it's supposed to be cyberpunk.
And wasn't there a game on the PC back in the day just called Ah?
Yes,
There
that
was.
Reckless Disregard for Gravity.
Yep.
And then the sequel was... Oh no, I don't remember what the sequel is called.
It was
They
called
did
DJ
have- they-
Qualls.
No, they were working on another game that said that was called something. Drop that beat like an ugly baby. Which is what
Whoa.
the title.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play a game called Void Serial Limited / Last Voidtorium ++.
Well, what I liked about their other stuff, because they did, I think that's the same. Maybe I'm wrong, but I thought that was the same studio that did like Rose in the Twilight, Yomawari, and what is it? Liar Princess and the Blind Prince. They were all
Sure.
like they were all puzzle platformers and stuff. But this one is like this weird. Voidtorium's this weird, like dungeon crawler. It almost reminded me of is it Dungeon Keeper? That's like the top-down game that you build the dungeons in.
Yeah, the old one.
Yeah,
Yep.
it kind of looked like, it kind of reminded me somewhat of that too. It was this weird thing. I'm like, I don't really know if this mix sounds all that great.
Rose in the Twilight sounds like an early 2000s Seal song.
It does. Also sounds like it would be a sequel to Rumble Roses.
No,
Oh,
no,
I forgot that
we
game
don't
existed. That
we don't talk about
Ugh.
Rumble Roses. That game is
I just did.
uncomfortable.
yes,
Like remember in the sequel they had like the mud wrestling match.
I didn't even know
Yep.
there was a sequel.
Yeah, there's two of them. There's one on the
Ugh.
PS2 and there's one on the Xbox 360. And they're both
I'm gonna take.
equally bad. There was an Xbox Live Arcade game fairly similar to that release called Girl Fight.
Girl
Oh.
Fight.
Yeah, like the best
was-
name you could have for a game about girls fighting, I suppose.
Oh no, it's not Rumble Roses 2. It's Rumble Roses
XX.
XX.
Yeah.
And it's playable on Xbox One via backwards
Is
compatibility.
it really?
Yes.
Holy cow. Wonder if they ever upscaled that to get that 4K mud.
Oh no.
That game is that is a Konami IP that maybe they should sell to Nintendo. You know, license out and make a Nintendo. Put Rumble Rose in Smash.
There's that period of the PS2 early Xbox where they really thought tits and ass were gonna sell a video game alone, which I guess in some way it's still true, but they've stopped burying the lead.
Yeah, I mean
You know, on
they
that-
might as well just make a category on the eShop called horny.
Yeah. They're not like, it's a wrestling game with boobs. It's now just like, it's boobs. And
Yeah.
I guess they wrestle. Fuck you.
It's just straight up.
Here's your body pillow cover.
Yeah, why not? What were those one games? Oh god. They were really uncomfortable. I remember that's where the mouse pad came from. The PR people sent the mouse pad, the booby mouse pad.
Isn't that the Peach Beach volleyball or whatever?
The
people?
Shinron Kagura? No.
Yeah.
This
That's who I
maybe it was the
thought it
same
was.
developer, but there was like these really uncomfortable games back on the PS3 360 era. And that's where that mouse pad came from, and I can't remember what they were called. There was a series of them. Man, wish I could remember what they were called. They were very uncomfortable games. And finally, Manifold Garden. It's making its way to the PS5. Okay. So the PS4 and Xbox One, we're getting a lot of the same games, as well as Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Dry Twice. Nothing?
Yep.
that name I know they think they're being witty, but it's just gross.
I heard the first game was actually good. Whatever. This is the second
First
one.
game or the remake?
The first of this, since
I
this
don't
developer took
know
over.
if I heard that, but I will
I had
take your
heard
word
people
for it.
say it was good. This is.
I
the
mean, it
sequel.
literally could not be worse than Magna Cum Laude
Magna Cum Laude.
and Box Office Bust.
Box Office Bust was just a bad video game.
But no, they both were, from my understanding. I've
Magnum
only
Cum-
ever heard audio.
Magnum Cum
But-
Laude has
Everybody
a few moments.
But did it need to be a video game sort of thing?
No, it did not.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
then, to be fair, neither did the old ones.
I mean, they're Sierra point-and-click games, though. Like, they do punish you for not solving the puzzle right.
Yeah. The Sims 4 Courtyard Oasis Kit. Jay and Silent Bob Mall Brawl is making its way to Xbox and PlayStation. Cosmic Top Secret. Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remastered. Rust Console Edition.
Okay, I think I found the video game.
What video game?
Is it Record of Agarest War?
That sounds familiar.
Because
Maybe-
there's literally an article from Just Push Start, Agarest War's boobs mousepad exposed.
Yeah, that might be it. I promise you that's not the only booby mouse pad, but
You notice even in that article they had to slip in the word exposed.
of course. Because you hope that the mouse pad has removable cloth.
Oh.
Lord. Ken, we've been doing this too long.
You're telling me.
Too long.
Oh, man. And yet gamers are still horny. Go figure.
It's one of those things. It seems like it'll never go away.
Yeah. And then, hey, you remember that dodgeball multiplayer game that's going to flop? That's out this week. Knockout City? Remember that?
No, I don't remember that because
That's the EA game. You know, like, because Rocket League, or well, not Rocket League, Rocket Arena blew up so big. So now they went back to the well and they're bringing you Knockout City. And the only
And
thing
was it a special edition?
What special edition?
I'm now down a rabbit hole, and no one gives a shit about this fucking game.
Oh,
so
you're still on
trying to
Agarest
find
War. We're not even talking about Knockout City anymore.
Yeah, I'm reading that the PS3 version of Agarest War was a PSN download, but the 360 version was a disc release. Comes with a pillowcase.
Yeah, they sent that whole package to me.
Oh, the real naughty limited edition.
Yeah, and Jason took the mouse pad, just FYI. I don't know if he still has it.
Because I found an old Destructoid article which just says Agarest War limited edition is blatantly better on 360, and they go, "Yep, it's got a disc release, it's got a pillowcase, it's got the booby mouse pad, comes in a pretty box, it says really naughty limited edition on it. Oh, and a CD soundtrack."
Hey, let's be fair about all of this. That was back then, right? And you know that was bad back then. But remember, just last year there was a game that's shipped with panties.
Yeah. Hold on, let me scroll up our chat where I think isn't it called Panty Party?
Yes, that's the name of the game. You're ruining your
Video games
Google.
are so stupid.
You're ruining your Google search history, Anthony.
But I was smart enough to go on private browsing.
It don't matter. It still tracks it. You know it does.
I know.
Sure Footing is the other Xbox game. Yeah. Nintendo Switch. Let's do the Switch. Oh God, the horny does not stop.
No, of course not. This is the reason why I wasn't afraid to take this off the rails.
All right.
This is why Paul McCartney was full of shit when he said "No more lonely nights."
Oh, it sounds like it's a lot more lonely nights.
Yeah, for the gamer community, that's 100% true.
Only lonely nights.
The Nintendo Switch this week is getting a Project Knight Turbo Skiddy Race. Yes, I said Skiddy Racing.
Giddy.
Skiddy. That word is dangerously close to bad things. Archaea Chess Knights Shinobi. That's a weird combination. Jetboard Joust. That's gross, Anthony. Stop it. SnowRunner, the Leisure Suit Larry game, 0 Degrees, Outbreak, Sunless Skies, Sovereign Edition, Alchemist Adventure, Backworlds, Clannad Side Stories, Color Your World, Inverium, Just Die Already. That's the game I want to play. I don't know if you guys seen that game.
I have not.
Your son will probably love it. It's basically Goat Simulator with old people.
Oh yeah, you told me about
that's
that.
that's
Yeah.
the one I read the description of because it was on like all on Steam. I was
Yeah.
just reading out the info. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's made by the same guys that are published by the same guys that did Goat Simulator, so it makes sense. Layers of Fear 2, Let It Roll Slide Puzzle, Tiger Trio's Tasty Travels, Woodblock Escape Puzzles, a sequel to one of our favorite horny games from the PlayStation Network, Sakura Succubus 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Oh, I hope so. Cosmic Top Secret, Driving World Aspen, Guards, just a game called Guards, Gut Whale, Metopia, alongside the Nintendo Switch Lite Blue, and Wanna Survive. That's what's out for your Nintendo Switch this week. So get excited. Sakura Succubus 2.
Is anybody excited for Metopia? I haven't seen a lot of people online just be like, Metopia, holy shit.
You know, I heard about it when Nintendo announced it in the Direct, and then nothing. Like,
I think they would have honestly been better with the other game that I've confused it with. Yep.
that's helpful. I don't know what you're talking about.
The one where you're on the island that it's like Animal Crossing with the Mii's.
The fuck was that? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I had to do this last time.
If I heard the name, I'd probably be like, "Oh yeah, that game." But the only island
Tomodachi
game...
Life.
Oh, Tomodachi Life. The thing John loves. John loved Tomodachi
Yeah,
Life.
a lot of people love that game.
When you say Mii's on a resort, I think of Wii Sports Resort. That's what I think of.
You don't think of Pilot Wings Resort,
No.
which takes place on the same island?
No. Pilot Wings and Pilot
Woohoo
Wings
Island?
64. Is it Woohoo?
Not like the 3DS game.
Wahoo?
It's fine. No, it's Woohoo.
Woohoo?
WHU.
Because that's when you're flying, you go woohoo.
I guess so.
Sweet. Let's do some news. Microsoft Xbox executive has teased that they have new IP that have not been announced yet that will, quote, blow your mind. You know,
Wow.
what would blow my mind about Xbox games? If they put some out.
Yes.
Yep.
Agreed.
That would blow my mind. Because it's been a long
Currently, we
time.
have and the other one, which is yeah.
The other what?
I was making a joke that there isn't an exclusive currently. That's the reason why I said there's that one that's and the other one.
Yeah. I love my Xbox. It's my preferred platform, but I am so tired of hearing about how many games Microsoft has coming.
Yeah.
I don't care. Stop telling me what's coming and make it so.
Make it so.
Make it so. Because y'all ain't got no fucking games.
Like and the first one that's going to come out of Double Fine was one that Double Fine was already doing. So
yeah,
it's
we already knew about
Thanks.
that game, you know, and not to say that I will not enjoy Psychonauts 2 because I totally will enjoy Psychonauts 2.
that isn't. Well, I mean, I will go in expecting to enjoy it, but you never know what will happen. But I mean, I'm pretty confident that it's going to be a good game.
And it's free if you have Game Pass.
Yeah, which makes it even easier. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, so that's coming out everywhere, but
Microsoft
Microsoft
Flight
really has
Simulator
nothing to
is
do.
coming to Xbox this summer. Maybe.
You know, I think that hit at the perfect time when the pandemic was a thing, so people couldn't travel, and then people realized how hard.
I mean, I'll play it
that
because it's in
fucking-
Game Pass, so I get to play it for
Well,
free, you know?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't buy
That's
that. There's no way in hell I'd
That's
buy
like-
that.
It's annoying that they don't have anything.
Yeah, and then now we're hearing like mumblings that like maybe Halo doesn't make it this year, and you're like, God damn.
I wouldn't be surprised. Although, wow, every year that gets delayed.
Yeah.
Grounded isn't finished.
No, it's not. I would love for it to be finished because I might actually play it then, but I'm not going to play an early access game a lot.
Now, I think they still update that consistently, but nevertheless.
1.0 that bitch, and let's get it done. But also,
I can't believe you just made 1.0 into a verb.
I mean, I've done this for 15 years. I can do that.
You have that power?
Yeah. Also, out of Microsoft news this week about exclusive games, apparently Starfield is exclusive to Xbox and PC. No shit. I said that like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I don't know why anybody was thinking otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that hasn't actually been confirmed by Microsoft or Bethesda yet.
Probably they're going to start like a promotion for that. My guess is they show that game at E3 and announce it's coming, and that's when we'll actually get new. I don't know if you saw the leaked video.
I did not know.
It looks pretty good.
Does it look like Skyrim in space?
Looks like No Man's Sky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I will be interested to see what that game is. I'm sure it'll be good.
Isn't the prevailing rumor that it's supposed to be out this year?
That is the rumor is Microsoft's fall lineup is Halo, Forza, and Starfield. That's the rumor.
I mean, I know we've got E3 coming up, but
Yeah, like less than a month. Can you believe that?
yeah.
Yeah.
But if Microsoft does not, like if Halo gets delayed, Forza will make it out. But like we've talked about Forza 1,000 times, it's always
Forza.
good. But it's that game
Yeah.
that you just play it. And, like it doesn't set anything on fire.
It's also... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
See, it's also a niche title.
Yeah.
And I say that not because, racing. It's just, it is on the side of more simulation than it is arcade.
Well, depends on which one.
Well, let's be honest. It's going to be standard.
I might say Horizon will be out before
I don't...
Forza Motorsport. I think Forza Motorsport's going to be like this overhaul of the franchise, like a Gran Turismo type delay.
I don't think it would be Horizon because I understand that studio is bigger than one team, but that studio is also working on Fable. And it's also not the year for Horizon, right? The last game to come out was a Horizon?
Wait, you're talking about... Okay, sorry, I'm confused. You guys keep saying Horizon, and my assumption always goes to Horizon,
Zero
like
Dawn.
the Horizon Zero Dawn sequel.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, we're not
So
talking
I'm
about
trying to
Sony,
figure out
yeah.
what the hell you're talking about.
So
But I got
Forza
you.
Horizon, yeah, Forza Horizon, I bet is this year's Forza, and I think Forza Motorsport is next year. That's
Regardless,
my guess.
One is a more niche title, so if it's hopefully Horizon would be the better choice, but whatever. I mean, it's kind of like Gran Turismo. I don't think Gran Turismo pushes consoles the way it might have at one point in time.
No, Gran
Because
Turismo
it's
is
a niche
no longer,
audience.
Gran Turismo is no longer a tentpole; it's a nice addition, just like Forza.
Yeah, and like, don't get me wrong, car and racing fans, they're big into it, but it's like, that is still a niche audience that will buy your console because they like your game, but might not buy anything else. But I don't think that's still the thing you want to set your console up for alone. And like, so Motorsport would be more for those people. And for a group of people that just bought your new console that are waiting for games to play that are brand new, that aren't third party, I think Horizon would appeal to more people. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe because it's not.
I mean,
like
let's be fair.
Stats and numbers in front of me.
Microsoft is super lucky that, and not super lucky's tail, mind you, but they're super lucky that they that they don't need a system seller to sell systems right now. Because if they needed one, they don't have one.
Yeah. That's very true.
And,
I mean, they're probably lucky they don't even have systems to sell.
I think that was the point Ken was making, but I'm not sure.
I assumed that he was saying that the demand for the system is high no matter what.
right now, the demand for both of these systems is high, and it doesn't matter if you release a must-have game because people are going to buy it whether you release a must-have game or not. Yeah. And let's be fair, if they both had infinite inventory, I bet you we would be able to buy Xboxes right now because, well,
Oh, for sure.
there's
Yeah.
nothing that you have to have that system. It's real
Yeah,
nice to have.
that's what I mean by they're probably lucky they don't have systems to sell because the scarcity is making their case for them because they don't have
Oh.
the ability to make the case on their own.
Yeah,
No, I got it,
exactly.
got it.
Game Pass is awesome, but there is no reason for you to buy a new system if you have an Xbox One just for
Correct.
Game Pass.
And it's like, let's be honest, a lot of people, if you're given the option, like, why would you spend the amount of money on the X if you already have a PlayStation 5, right?
Oh,
'Cause the S
absolutely.
is going to play everything anyways.
So right now there's nothing, and I think they're in a beneficial, and maybe they're in this beneficial spot, and they don't have games because of the same reason that they're in this beneficial spot.
Could be.
Delays on these games are most likely due to the pandemic, as is the shortage. So maybe they would have a game out by now.
Well, they're all but the Halo. I feel like Halo is literally just not coming together.
I don't.
Something just tells me it has nothing to do with the pandemic. I wasn't helped by the pandemic, but I saw the video footage. It looked fine, but it didn't look good.
Let's talk
look
about how
great.
you should never name your game something that never ends, like Duke Nukem Forever or Halo Infinite.
I never even thought about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe we should not name games like that because, well, you don't ever come out.
That's why I'm really disappointed we never got 3 Human.
Right? Or what about the prequel, One Human?
Well, that was always going to be a long shot.
Anyway, Microsoft, I love your console, but make some fucking games. Because you don't have any. Moving over to the Sony side.
I would love an opportunity to love their console.
Yeah, I mean, I will tell you this. I love it because, like, everything I have runs like a goddamn dream. But
Yep.
that is not enough reason for most people to upgrade. Because most people don't care if the game's running at 30 or 60. They just... And certainly even
Correct,
fewer
I
people
don't.
care that it's running at 120. For me, that's like, oh my god, this is amazing. But most people are like, well, I'm not going to spend $500 for something I don't see. You know?
Right.
So, moving over to Sony, they announced 2 new colors for the DualSense controller this week, so you can buy 2 new colors of controller for a system you cannot buy. You can get a black, midnight black, or you can get, I think it's crimson red. I think is what.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like I know it's called Crimson Red, but
Cosmic
it doesn't
red.
really look that. Yeah, it
Cosmic
doesn't really look that cosmic red. You're right. It doesn't really look that red to me. It almost looks a little bit. I don't know.
I'm looking at it. It's got kind of like this maroon.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit maroon, I think.
I love.
But I mean, whatever.
I love the black one with the light on because the blue against the black reminds me of PlayStation. Like that looks
Yeah.
like a PlayStation controller, whereas the DualSense, I don't like the color of the DualSense. I don't like white shit. That's why I don't like birds. But no, I don't like white shit.
Wow.
I like my electronics to be black.
I don't mind white consoles and stuff, but I don't like it when it's glossy.
Oh, I absolutely hate that fucking Xbox 360. Remember the little one? You like pick it up and it's got 4,000 fingerprints on it.
Yep.
Oh, I hate
Because
that.
I didn't mind the original 360 where it was the
The matte.
sort of
Matte
finish.
is fine. Make
Right.
matte everything. Do not make glossy anything.
Yeah.
Like the original PS3 had glossy parts to it, and it was just awful.
Looks like crap. Yep.
Yeah.
Scratch it. As soon as it gets scuffed at all, it's over.
Yep, get rid of that. Speaking of next-gen platforms, Google claims that Stadia is, quote, alive and well. And it has 100...
I too can lie about things.
It has 100 games launching this year. It says new games, but that's a lie. They're old games just releasing on the Stadia platform. Sorry. I had to stick that one in there.
That's a lie.
As a lie. They ain't new. They're new to you. What's the Family Guy quote? If I haven't seen it, it's new to me. As Stadia boasts,
That's the truth.
as Stadia boasts its big new release, Jedi Fallen Order, last week. Woo! Talk about the hot new
love it.
releases. I'm sorry, Stadia is just like I don't know anybody that would make Stadia their main platform, and the motherfuckers I see online that do make Stadia their main platform, I just look at them and I go, why? Like I don't.
Because it makes me unique.
I mean, I just, no, thank you. I played Stadia. I did not like the latency. I did not like. There's a lot of things I don't like. I don't like the controller. I don't like the fact that I have to plug a goddamn Chromecast into my TV. You ever used a Chromecast? That shit is the worst.
I have not ever used a Chromecast.
Oh my god, it's the worst. It's like if you got to choose what your streaming device was and you chose Chromecast, I would question what you're doing. I don't think you understand that they're like everything is better than that. Like there's not a worse streaming device than a Chromecast. Maybe Android TV. Maybe that's worse. But Chromecast's pretty bad because basically it doesn't do anything unless you have a phone.
Interesting.
Apparently they're changing that for the new one. But up to this point, Chromecast did nothing without a phone. Like it's not like a Roku or an Apple TV where you like select the app and then pick the show you want to watch. No, you log into the app on your phone and then you press a button to like cast it to your TV. Hence the name. Like my TV does that without a Chromecast. Why the fuck would I buy that? Anyway, I really have a problem with Chromecast if you can't tell.
I can tell.
Okay. Final Fantasy 14 had a big event this week. They announced patch 5.55, as well as the launch date for the full PS5 version, which will be on May 25th. They also announced a new expansion called Endwalker. It'll be out November of 2021. So there you go. There's a bunch of new Final Fantasy 14 stuff.
Nice.
Hades.
I'm sure there's a lot of people excited about that.
Oh yeah, I saw a lot of people excited about it, and if I was still playing, I would totally be excited. That game is very good. Hades has been rated for the PS4 in Korea, which means Hades may finally be coming somewhere else besides Switch and PC.
Cool.
It's always crazy to me when a game is so revered and so talked about and yet remains on one or two platforms.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. Like, why would you not? Like, Fall Guys, we talked about that last week. Like, why would you not put that on more platforms, especially, like, at the height of its popularity? So,
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. I never will. I will never understand, like, I saw Scarlet Nexus got a timed demo on Xbox this week, and I'm like, why are we still doing timed exclusive demos? Like,
It's a great question.
Capcom did it with Resident Evil, and now Namco Bandai is doing it with Scarlet Nexus, and it's just, I mean, if that's what you want to spend your money on, you can go right ahead, but it's fucking stupid. Did you know Mass Effect Legendary Edition supports old save data for Mass Effect 2 and 3?
How?
Let me pull up the story here. So, if you're starting Mass Effect Legendary Edition and you want to have your original data, you're in luck. With save data importing, you can do just that from the original 2007 game. It is on PC.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yep. I'd assume you could probably do it. They could figure out a way to do it on Xbox too, because Xbox Cloud saves carry over as well. PlayStation 4 owners, you just fucked. That ain't gonna work. But PC is currently working. Xbox may be able to work, but I mean, it's still cool. I kind of would want to start over anyway. But.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd buy that edition and then start from your save data.
Yeah.
Like, I appreciate the fact that you can do it, but
what else is going on? Coalition has confirmed that its next game will use Unreal Engine 5.
okay.
So there's that.
Isn't that Perfect Dark?
Coalition's not making Perfect Dark. Or wait, Coalition is Gears, right?
I don't know. Yes, yeah. Because you read that headline and it sounded familiar, and now I'm realizing it sounded familiar because somebody said that Gears was going to be on Unreal 5 next.
Okay.
Coalition
And
is Gears. What's the other company that is making Perfect Dark? What are they called?
I'm looking up.
What?
The Initiative.
The Initiative.
Fucking good lord.
The Initiative.
The Initiative. The
Stupid
Coalition.
Company names, man.
All of them sound like evil, what do you call it, groups or whatever from a bad spy movie.
Oh,
Yes.
Maybe they are. You don't know.
Maybe they are.
Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance will launch onto Xbox Game Pass when it releases in June.
Which is crazy.
Awesome, man. Microsoft continued to hit MLB The Show, Outriders, and now Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance.
Yeah, and that game too, I mentioned this before, but that game too it's important that it's going to be on Game Pass, I think, because it's heavily built on co-op multiplayer. So I think that should really help that game.
Yeah, there'll be a
To
lot
have
of
a big
people.
player base.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people to play with, which is a good thing. I'm excited that we're getting more Game Pass stuff day and date because I think that's kind of how that service is going to grow really big, is being able to say, hey, here is the next big third-party release, and you don't have to pay for it on day one. Because I know the discourse that was going around the last couple weeks is that Returnal was $70. And that's a lot of money for a video game. So
I think that comes like over $100 here in Canada.
yeah, and that's for a game
$89.99 before tax.
And that's for a game that's in a genre that a lot of people don't fuck with.
Yeah, but to be fair, most of them didn't know it was in that genre.
That's the other problem, is a lot of people bought it and now they're a little pissed. That'll be the problem in the future with digital games, is that if you take a chance on something for $70, ooh, you're stuck.
Yeah, you're kind of stuck. Yep.
I don't have anything else. Anthony, do you have anything?
No, I got nothing. Returnal would have been $101.69.
Nope. Just like Flight Simulator. Nope.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Flight Simulator. When's that supposed to come out?
It just said summer.
Oh, okay.
So my guess.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't have an X anyway, but
that's true, and it's
or
not
Series X anyway.
It's not coming to Xbox One, I don't think.
I don't think so.
I
Maybe.
I think they
I
said
don't
that
think
one
so,
was
though.
a little too intense for the Xbox.
Yeah, a little too needy.
I think even on Series X it only runs at 30 frames a second, so it's probably not going to run on an Xbox One.
Right.
So
I wouldn't expect it to.
anyway, got some email. Got a email.
Nice.
Not some emails, just a email. This comes from Francisco. He says, "How's everyone? Hope everything is
Good.
well. Every week you guys kill it on the show."
Eh.
That might be the best response to a compliment I've ever heard. As a PC player, high frame rates is something that is a must. I personally think that a smooth experience is the number one thing for games. I'm sure others have a different opinion, but in my experience, gameplay is the most important thing for a game. That's why indies are the best games out there, in my opinion, of course. They are the only ones that truly experiment and innovate where gameplay is concerned. Anyways, I'm glad people are getting to play these titles with improved frame rates on these new consoles. It truly does make the experience better. Resident Evil Village is pretty good. If I were to describe it in a simple sentence, it would be Resident Evil 4, but in first person. Of course, that's an oversimplification. So far, I'm about 70% done with it, and the only real complaint I have is the lack of a higher field of view. I have a hard time playing games that have a 90 or lower field of view, and I'm not sure if it was a design choice or graphics limitations. I can only speculate, but great game nonetheless. With the release of R-Type Final, I was wondering what your favorite shmup is. Mine are Axelay and Cybernator for the SNES. Keep up the great work and have a great weekend, guys.
I will say that my two favorites, and I'm not saying these are the best, but they're my two favorites just based on nostalgia, are Gradius 3
Mm.
and Life Force on the NES.
Oh man, those are real good. I definitely love the Gradius series. R-Type on the Super Nintendo, and probably this is a weird and obscure one. In the Hunt for the PlayStation.
I've never even heard of that game.
Oh man,
Hold on. Let me just go get.
In the Hunt was a PS1 game shmup, but you were a submarine.
And
Oh, okay.
It was made by the people who did later would go on to do Metal Slug.
It's if
I
you've
have,
never
like,
played
Japanese.
it, I would recommend checking it out on RetroArch because you can do that.
I have a Japanese Saturn copy of that Kaite Daisenso.
In the Hunt is a very like, and what the worst part is the cover of it for the PlayStation 1 is awful.
Yes, it's the cover of the PlayStation 1 version, which is one of the long boxes, and it's extremely expensive. Is just the submarine. If you look at the Japanese like Saturn copy, it has the submarine with like a Godzilla-looking creature.
Oh, that didn't work. I was trying to.
No, it did not
I
at
don't know
all.
why that didn't work. I was trying to put the image in. I got it now. Here you go. Here's the awful cover for In the Hunt. That does not look like a good.
Well, that's the short version of it.
Yeah, the Jewel Case standard version of it. Like that
Yeah,
is
Jump game.
yeah. That doesn't look like a game you'd be like, oh man, that looks like a good shmup. But
Yeah, no.
I absolutely love In the Hunt.
It looks like Metal Slug when you play it.
Yeah, it's very got that like that fat kind of cartoon style to it.
Where it has way too much detail as well.
Yeah, like the animation is super over the. I remember the PlayStation 1 version had some pretty bad slowdown, and the Saturn version was a little better.
I still somewhere have a box and book copy of Gradius 3 for the Super Nintendo.
Holy shit. I don't know why this is here, but in my search for this box art, I just found this epic cover for Super Smash Brothers. So check this out. That's the fucking hottest Super Smash Brothers cover ever.
Nintendo's best in 4-player action.
I mean, Pikachu
my
is just like
God.
straight up a mouse.
And then just a full-out mouse.
I think it's all clip
And
art.
is that Denver the last dinosaur? No, that's some manner of...
I think it's
Dragon.
just clip art that they put together.
Look at Donkey Kong in
Comic-
the upper right.
The Comic Sans font and
That is
everything.
really
oh my
great.
God.
That is my favorite.
Mario's about to beat somebody with a plumber's wrench.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's good shit. But yeah, those are probably like R-Type. Was it R-Type 3? I think is the one with the big fucking.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the one I love. And then In the Hunt was like my obscure favorite, which looks like In the
Thanks.
Hunt is actually available on PlayStation 4 in the Arcade Archives collection.
That makes sense.
Interesting.
I might go buy that just because.
Mine are all
Just
like
because.
just the Darius stuff, so it's nothing sort of special or anything.
Those Darius games are really like super deep.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's partially because of the fact that you can just sort of play those games over and over and over and just take different paths.
I'm sorry, but this Super Smash Brothers art is like there's a theme. There's all kinds of shit out here about this.
Oh no.
I got another one.
This is great for the listeners that can't see.
I know. Leave me alone. Just one more. Here you go.
Oh my God. That one's even worse.
I love the Koopa, the turtle. God damn, that's funny.
I'm gonna add. I'm assuming we're only talking space shooters.
No, any
They're
kind of
getting
shmup
shots.
I think is fine. Like, because I did In
Well-
the Hunt, and that's not really a.
Yeah, but you know what I mean though. Like, because I'd say Robotron is one of my favorites, but does that really count? Because at that point,
That's
then
like
you
a
go
twin
into
stick shooter.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's
Okay.
a little different than a shmup.
Yeah, shmup is like a shoot 'em up, like a bullet hell or
Right. The first one I ever played, and I'm counting it. Everybody else can pound dirt. Defender.
Okay.
That's probably one of the earliest ones I played. I have fond memories of that.
Yeah, Defender's
Defender
good.
2.
I mean, I've loved those genres all my life, and I continue to love them today. And I talked about this in my review of R-Type. They really kind of like take advantage of us that really enjoy them because they make them super expensive.
Well, and they've gotten too over the years. I think bullet helly for me.
I mean, some of them have.
Most of them.
Yeah, some of them have, but like R-Type Final 2 is not bullet hell. Like it's straight up old
that's
school
good.
R-Type. Yeah.
And I think part of it is that those games were made super punishing and would eat your quarters, right? And it's like I think they want the same return on those, and it's like you're never gonna get the same return.
Not on
You
a
made
home
these
game.
games horribly difficult. Of course, you're not going to get the same return.
What was the Xbox 360 arcade game? Omega 5?
Hold on.
You were playing as the robot, and do you remember the first level was called the Glacial Fortress, but the narrator...
Glacial Fortress.
The Glacial
Yeah.
Fortress. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's the name of that?
Is that Omega 5?
Wait, original Xbox?
360.
360.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was called Omega 5.
That's
a
probably
good one.
right.
I've never
That
seen...
was a good one.
There's only 5 levels in that game, and I've never seen all 5 of them.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I see it. Omega 5 is a horizontally scrolling shooter. Yeah.
Yeah. There's the Game Boy Advanced Macross game is on the eShop, and I keep wanting to buy it, but I'm afraid it's not good.
I'm going to assume it's not good.
I mean, it was a 2D side-scrolling shooter where you could transform between the robot and the Macross jet. That sounds pretty
I
rad.
want to say that's a port of something.
It's a GBA game.
Okay. Yeah, it's probably bad.
I still want to buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, I bought
Just
the
to-
Tasmanian
just to do
Tiger,
it.
and that's a bad video game.
It's not a bad video game. It's a mediocre
It's-
video game.
It's a bad video game.
It's a mediocre video
Bad.
game.
Listen,
You
here's
defended
the
Balan
issue.
Wonderworld. I won't hear
is-
about this.
I could say the truth is probably somewhere in the middle about Ty the Tasmanian Tiger, but in the middle between bad and average is not a good place to be.
No, but like my point is that like that game is mediocre, and I understand, but like using that as because here's how it came up. Ken goes, "Oh, this won't get a reboot, but Ty does." Well, first of all, Ty is owned by the people that made Ty, so that's how that happens. And second, Ty is mediocre. Like, have that conversation about Bubsy, who never put out a good game, and then somehow got a reboot.
But that's because Bubsy is a cultural icon of bad video games.
That makes it even worse.
But I mean,
makes
bad
it
video
even
games
worse.
keep getting remade. I mean, they made a third Shenmue.
Wow, I'm not even wading into that one.
It's been a while
I've had
since I've made a
conversations about
Shenmue
Shenmue.
joke.
I'm just kind of done with it.
Listen, I mean the
Gave us
reality
Yakuza, and I'm done.
the reality is that Ty the Tasmanian Tiger was a perfectly average 3D platformer at a period of time where the world was way too full of average 3D platformers.
Correct.
I don't think you all have played Ty the Tasmanian Tiger in a while.
Tack and the Power of Juju and what's the Pharaoh game?
Sphinx, the Cursed
Hey.
Mummy.
Sphinx is
Yeah.
great, but Sphinx
I'm not saying it's not. I'm
got
just using it
buried.
as an example as
You're
of
right.
the glut of third-person character platformers that came out after like Ratchet and Clank and Jack.
I will die on a hill right now for Vexed.
Oh,
Oh, Vex. That was
Acclaim.
who did Vex? Yeah, but there was a specific team that did that game. I thought that
don't-
did something else.
I've gotta look
on.
this up now.
you'll shit on Ty, but hate like Vex.
Yeah, Vex was a good video game.
Oh no, it was not.
It was Acclaim
was
Studios
fine.
Austin that made that game.
Again, all those games are on a scale of slightly above average to below average.
It became Iguana, who made Turok.
Turok.
Yep.
Okay.
It started as Iguana and then became
Acclaim
Austin.
Studios Austin. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it right now though. The Pitfall Lost Expedition game was fantastic.
So Iguana also made a couple other platformers back on the 16-bit days. They made Arrow the Acrobat
Yep.
and Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel.
Well, of course they did.
Speaking
'cause
of character
Zero is-
platformers,
Zero is a sequel to Arrow the Acrobat, or spin-off. 'cause
There were
was a
two
sequel to
Arrow the Acrobat. There was Arrow the
Yeah,
Acrobat and
and
Arrow
then-
the Acrobat 2.
And then Zero the Kamikaze Squirrel.
Arrow the Acrobat was published by Sunsoft.
you're missing the most important Iguana entertainment game. NBA Jam.
Well, they ported that.
Well, but still, it counts.
Port don't count.
It counts.
That game was
That day and
created
age-
by
that-
Midway Arcade.
Yeah,
In that
but
day
they
and age,
ended
it
up.
counts.
They I'm counting it.
Well, they didn't.
count.
I agree with Ryan.
How could what? They didn't create NBA Jam. They
They
ported
had
didn't
to
say they
redo
created
the
it.
whole thing.
They worked on
They
it.
couldn't just wasn't copy paste the code. Now it just
All-Star
works on the Super
Baseball?
Nintendo.
All-Star Baseball, South Park on the 64.
Okay, well
That's
you
not
know,
a
we all
bragging.
have
That's
our-
not a bragging right there.
Did they do
Quarterback Club?
Chef's Love Shack and South Park Racing as well? Those
They
were
did Batman
fucking
Forever, the arcade game.
They did.
That's a
I don't
bad
know
video.
which. I don't know which. I don't
It's
know which one
bad.
that is. They're all bad.
Iggy's
aren't they?
Wrecking Balls.
I remember
Remember-
Iggy's balls.
I remember seeing the cover. I don't know what that game is.
By the way, they did do Chef's Love Shack.
Oh god,
Ugh.
that was
Showdown Legends of Wrestling,
Oh
which was a terrible game.
yeah, College Slam, which was the NBA Jam ripoff. They ported that.
Yep.
Forsaken.
Okay.
That game came back.
I don't remember how that one came back. I don't know if that was a Night Dive or.
Yes, it was.
Okay.
So Night Dive basically had like bought all the Iguana games. They did Turok, they did
Yeah, I
Forsaken,
mean-
and they did Shadow Man, which was a different Acclaim.
Yeah.
They also made this. Do you remember this game, the Red Star, for the PlayStation 2?
Two. Yeah.
That was a
Wasn't
bad
that a
video game.
top-down strategy game?
No, it was a action game, almost like
It was top-down though, right?
yeah, like a Diablo kind of style.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Why did I think that was turn-based?
I have no idea.
I think I probably just looked at the screenshots and totally misread what was going on.
I'll play Vex again. I hope Night Dive brings back Vex. The piano level is amazing. We'll talk about Vex. All
I
right.
got a feeling for you. They ain't gonna bring it back.
Hey, Ty the Tasmanian Tiger came back. Vex can come back.
But I don't even know who owns Vex.
I mean, it's probably in that same. I mean, probably Embracer Group because they own everything, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right. Mookie tweets at us and says, "So there was an issue about whitewashing the line of cinema." I'm just reading this, so it is what it is. Will it be fair to say they're blackwashing because they have a planned black Superman?
No.
No, there's a
That's-
bit of a difference.
Yeah, that's
One is literally we are whitewashing because we don't want to touch any sort of culture that isn't white, and the other one is we are pandering to an audience to seem like we actually give a shit. And every response to hearing about Black Superman, specifically a Black Clark Kent, from Black people online was, "We don't want this."
Well, I mean,
Nobody wants this.
there were black Supermen.
And
Yeah,
that's the point.
that-
There
Steel and I can't remember the other guy's name.
I can't remember his name
What is
either.
it,
But there is
Henry?
that's John Henry Irons is Steel.
John
Yeah,
Henry
I can't-
Steele. Okay, yeah, sorry.
I can't remember he's a Kryptonian,
yeah,
but I can't remember his name.
yeah.
But there's and it's the same. Like I don't know how long
I mean-
people have been complaining that like Green Lantern isn't John
When-
Stewart.
Listen, I mean, the easiest answer to this is when white people are as underrepresented in media as other minorities are, then you can start complaining about whitewash or non-whitewashing.
Yeah,
Until then, just sit back and let other people be represented in media for a while.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. Like some of the best one, like Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't matter. It's who's in the role performing it. It's
a lot of this stuff. Well, and a lot of those comic books were written by white people in a time where representing non-white people was not important. So whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Just again, what white people have been overrepresented in media for a very long time. It's okay if other people take our place every now and then.
Yeah, I really don't care as long as they perform the thing. I'm good.
Yeah.
But like, I think the if the studios that pretend to care actually cared, they would listen to the people that are like, we want Jon Stewart, and I apologize, but like we would like steal more than we would like just a black Clark Kent. It's the same thing with that. Like look at Into the Spider-Verse. Like he's Spider-Man. Like Miles Morales is Spider-Man. It's just he's a different Spider-Man who's allowed to have his own story. He's not just black Peter Parker.
Sure.
Because that doesn't not that it doesn't work, but it would be kind of like gross to watch. Even when they brought Spider-Man, this was way back, but if you've ever seen the live-action Spider-Man show from Japan, he was made his own character still. He wasn't just Peter Parker. So it's important to like look at how you are like there is a fundamental character to Clark Kent or Peter Parker or whatever, and it's like you can take the superhero name, but you have to give a reason to like this new character. You can't just make him Superman and just be like and copy paste the rest of it and be like that works. And like that's what the studio's going to do because it's the easiest option, right?
I don't know. I tend to disagree with that for two reasons. Number one, Superman's an alien.
Yeah, he's an alien.
Number two, it's all bullshit anyway because he's not real. It's fake.
We gotta stop treating comic book characters like real people because they're not.
You're right. You're right. But I think that like
there's a difference.
There's too much attachment to this character. Like you know what I mean? There's a difference between
if they decided that some white guy was going to play Ray Charles and casting a non-white actor for a space alien that's not real.
Yeah. You're right. But it's one of those things where I think in the cultural like understanding that there's people expect certain things, and it's like we could. I don't think Warner Brothers is going to break that with a movie that they're selling to people. Does that make sense?
I don't know. I also have expectations that Clark Kent can fly from the comic books, but I don't need the actor who plays him to be able to fly. So I don't know. I'm being purposely obtuse right now because this argument drives me crazy every time I hear it.
I don't know.
Well, it's not like. Let me rephrase this then. I don't expect studios that are not our friends and don't seem to care to do any like actual heavy lifting on this, especially a studio that's proven itself not to want to do heavy lifting. Unlike, Anthony Mackie, right? That's his name? Falcon?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Falcon was not originally a black superhero character, but somebody put in the work, right? On the comic book side of things.
I love the line in the show, and it's not a spoiler, is when the kid asks him, he's like, why aren't you called Black Falcon? He's like, why would I be called Black Falcon? That just speaks so highly of the kind of people that think that way.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard, but Scarlett Johansson's playing Harriet Tubman in an upcoming.
But she is part of the problem.
It was a joke.
Sorry, I've been trying to scream this whole time and didn't realize that I was on mute. Falcon is black.
The original? I don't know Marvel, so I don't know.
He was one of the first black superheroes ever.
I thought he was white originally.
No, I think you're thinking of Hawkman.
Probably.
Hawkman was the whitest motherfucker you'd ever seen.
I probably got that fucked up.
I don't know how you confuse Falcon with Hawkman.
No, yeah.
You're right.
Falcon,
I'm wrong.
Falcon
wrong.
was it
Oh, that's
was
you know why?
relatively revolutionary at the time. Obviously, I wasn't alive then, but
Yeah, I
that's,
apologize.
Falcon holds a pretty special place in Marvel for that reason.
Okay. I don't know those characters, so I didn't know that, but yeah. I mean, it makes sense. And it's good they've gotten...
You know what I probably fucked it up with? That he became Captain America in the comics.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's not too long ago, but still.
yeah.
But he took that role because he was Falcon. But yeah, I probably fucked that up. Wow, that's a bad fuck up.
It's
I mean, like,
not
you know,
that bad. A lot of people probably didn't even catch it when they were listening, but
it's like, you know, the Dark Knight, not Rises. Oh my god, Dark Knight Returns, the comic. Like, Robin's a female.
Yeah,
like, that position is. It's just. I think it's the way it's done, and like, you know, Warner Brothers just came off of the whole like Joss Whedon debacle. So, you know.
Oh, you mean that piece of shit?
Yeah. So it's like I don't know. I just don't trust them to, especially when I have, myself included, like, been wanting a Jon Stewart Green Lantern movie to hopefully erase whatever the fuck that horrible movie Ryan Reynolds was.
Well,
right?
I mean, they did do Jon Stewart in Justice League Animated, and he was one of the best characters in that show.
It's almost like he's a good Green Lantern.
He's an excellent Green Lantern. I have nothing against Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan's a good Green Lantern, but I like Jon Stewart too.
Yeah, and I just, you know, it's irritating because there are black superheroes that need the time too.
Oh, absolutely. There's a ton of them, and I don't care who plays who as long as they play them well. Like, I'm not for, like Ryan said, he's a goddamn alien and he's
That's
not
true.
real.
And they have already, I mean, they have, if people have a problem with the fact that, well, you've already got an established DC Universe Superman in Man of Steel and those movies or whatever, this is a universe that is already established that
doesn't matter.
There's a multiverse, right? So, yeah, I don't know. To me, it's just not a big deal for me as a white person, and I recognize the fact that you brought up Miles Morales, which I think is a great pull, because I recognize that for kids that don't look like me or kids that don't look like my son, it's just as important for them to have superheroes that look like them too. So, I don't have a problem with it.
Nope. I do not care what the aliens or the superhumans look like. As long as they're well written and well done, I don't care.
You know, I'm gonna back up on my own statement and say I'm fucking wrong anyways, because in the Supergirl show they made Jimmy Olsen black. And it didn't matter.
Yeah, he's played.
So
doesn't matter.
none of this matters.
He was played by Jax.
That's right.
Nick Fury's another example, right?
Yeah.
And everybody accepts the Samuel L. Jackson version of Nick Fury as Nick Fury now.
Let's be fair. The entire world just accepts Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, and the Samuel L. Jackson version is about 15,000 times cooler than the original Nick Fury. So,
the original Nick Fury's kind of lame.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is like nobody knew who Nick Fury was till Samuel L. Jackson played him, like mainstream wise.
Yep.
Now everybody knows who Nick Fury is because Samuel L. Jackson was a wonderful fucking actor. All right, this might tie a little bit into that or other conversations. Mookie also says, why can't politics stay away from video games, comic books, and movies? Though I know why.
Because people write comic books, video games, and movies.
And because politics has been a part of video games, music, and movies since their inception.
I still love seeing people at certain rallies singing Rage Against the Machine and not understanding what the words mean.
Yeah, my favorite thing on that is that somebody posted on Twitter that similar sentiment and said, "What machine did you think they were raging against? A toaster oven?"
That's just like seeing these people like singing the lyrics to, what's the name of the song? The one that says "fuck you, I won't do." Yeah, in the name, killing in the name of. And it's just
Yeah.
like, do you not understand what the song is about?
No.
In the famous line from the movie, I don't think this means what you think it means.
There's somewhat unrelated, but I think shows to the level of where we are in society. There is another very politically driven musical piece, which is Pink Floyd's The Wall. And if you know who the nostalgia critic, one, I'm sorry. Two, his take on The Wall was notoriously terrible. I've never watched it. I've only seen bits and pieces. And he thought that he thought the song Another Brick in the Wall was about how school is awful and sucks.
That's because
And that
the
was
little
it.
girls at the end, the teachers leave those kids alone.
But like, that's not the point. The point is that like school is fundamentally flawed. First of all, second of all, because it's just a pipeline to industry, and second of all, it was about the fact that the teachers in the school that Roger Waters went to literally beat the children. And the character that he's playing in this album he wrote, it's another reason why he puts a separation between him and all other people. But his whole take is, well, school sucks, grow a pair of balls. That's Doug Walker's whole take. And it's just like, yeah, people don't listen to what they're actually listening to. They just hear it.
Yeah, the musicians are very big on speaking their minds, just like film directors are. No spoiler on anything, but if you haven't watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier, there's a lot of really good commentary in that show that I think will go over a lot of people's heads because they don't pay attention to the subtext of what people are talking about, even when they slap you in the face with it.
Well, I mean, I have not watched it, but I have seen all the memes of that's not my captain. That's the fucking point. Like, I feel like you are under... They are using this as a tool for propaganda. That is the whole fucking focus of this guy taking the fucking captain mantle.
Yeah.
Like, ugh.
It's never going to go away, and it's always been there. It's funny, like, even... Everything is influenced by life. That's the way the world works.
Yeah, human media is inextricable from the human condition, and the fact that we as a society have now decided that human rights and civil rights and the right of some people to exist in the first place are also considered politics. You're never going to disconnect that from the media that people create, because media is just another outlet for people to share their experience.
Yeah, and it's okay.
That's what it exists for. So
it's okay if you don't want to buy into that, but it ain't going away.
Well, it's again people talk about, well, keep politics out of my comic books. Listen, I got to tell you, your comic books have been full of politics since the very beginning.
Yeah, since the first one was drawn.
I mean,
they were full of propaganda. They were full of civil rights messages. They've been full of politics since the media started.
Yeah, this ain't
say
new.
Marvel was started by a bunch of Jewish guys, basically. So you think they were coming off of, the long-lasting effects of World War II and not going to have anything to say about it? Like X-Men, for fuck's sakes?
Yeah. It's
going to be
that's
there.
why. Music has reflected political leanings and the human condition since the very beginning as well. So it's, you ask why it has to be involved in it. I would say that it is as central to those media as the inks they're drawn with and the instruments they're played with.
Yep. And video games were actually an exception that they weren't at the beginning. A lot of them
Well,
weren't.
I mean, couldn't
A lot
be
of them were.
really, right?
And they weren't allowed to. The video games were very like if you go back and play NES games, most of the people mentioned in the credits are not the people that made that game.
For sure. I was thinking more of the fact that there was also a lot that you couldn't do just by limitations of the actual programming.
Sure,
But-
sure. But they were also
You're right.
restricted of being able to own their own work. And it's
Um,
good that we can now have you can have a game about anything, and I think that's rad. It may not be for me all the time, but that's okay. That's kind of the point. Not every piece of music is for everybody. Not every cinema, movie, anything is for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's not
All
going
I
to
have to
change.
say is that Ryan's talk about, the human condition, like, I look at something like Nier, which is praised for what it does with its story and what it has to say. And I'm sure you can avoid what it has to say with its both Automata and the original. But you don't get that story without the human condition as well. So if you want to engage with, say, Nier, for example, which isn't necessarily a political message, but still one about the human condition, you have to be willing to accept that other people are going to have different takes which do involve politics. If you wipe it out completely, then we go back to just arcade games. We don't get stuff like The Last of Us, which has something to say, again, not necessarily with politics involved. But it does have something emotional to say, because that's what it comes down to at the end of the day, is that these are all just emotional responses to the world around us.
Yep. Final tweet is also from Mookie. He says, not just in video games, but after using a 4K smart TV from Samsung plus wireless screen sharing from my Samsung Note 10 Plus, then switch to a full HD TV again, I feel it. My eyes hurt that I can't go back to smaller resolutions, just like 720 versus 1080 era.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in resolution being the important distinguisher. FPS for me is, I've talked about it on the show before. It's almost indistinguishable to me unless it's really bad. So
That's crazy to me. I do love
if you sat me in front of two different monitors and said this one's operating at 120 and this one's operating at 60, tell the difference or I'm going to shoot you in the head. I'd say tell my family I love them.
well, to be fair, you're not going to see a big visual difference in 120.
Well,
60.
guess what?
Now, from 30 to 60, you will see a massive difference.
I don't see it. I don't see it.
It runs. It starts to have that. I call it the smoothing effect that you see with like televisions that try to smooth
the
like
motion,
movies out.
the motion shit.
Ugh. Just you can feel it with video games for some reason. I guess that's because I'm
It's your
manually
response time.
controlling. Yeah, but like after 60, we just get into this area where I go, I don't need any more than this.
Well, it's not going to be a visual thing. It's going to be a very much an input thing. And if you're not playing a game that requires pinpoint input precision, you're not going to notice 120. Now,
It'll just tell me how bad I am. I don't need that.
the biggest ones that you will notice is if you have a Series X, there are games that run at sub 30 frame rates, like open world games, and then they get that FPS boost and you turn it on and it's like you're playing a new game. The Assassin's Creed games are very good examples of this. If you play Assassin's Creed Odyssey and then you jump over and you play Assassin's Creed Valhalla and you feel that 60 frames a second, it's huge. But resolution is nice. It is very nice. But here's the thing. Most stuff is not capping at 4K right now. I know that it outputs at 4K, but most stuff doesn't even reach 4K.
Native, you mean?
Native.
Sure.
Yeah. It'll checkerboard up to 4K, but video game wise, most things are not running in a native 4K resolution.
Sure.
So, now, I do agree that if you've got a game running at, 720 or 900p, even if it is running at 60 frames a second, you're like, boy, this moves and feels real good, but it kind of looks like fucking muddy ass. Like that.
What a really gross description.
That resolution is hard to look at. Like I go back and I watch, old TV shows or old movies, and you can just see like the video noise, and just like no matter how much you upscale it, I think that's what DLSS, and whatever the AMD version of it's called, where they're going to use AI technology to kind of look at the image and scale it up to higher resolution. I think that's going to be a huge part of next gen, because it is going to be available in both PS5 and the Series X, and it is already currently available in PC, and it looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that. But I do understand. I was watching Robot Chicken right before we started recording today, and I was like, wow. That shit is low resolution. So, I get it. And some things age better than others. I watched, I don't know why, but I was in like a 90s mood this week. I watched Jurassic Park, and I do own the 4K version of it, and it is still a little rough around the edges. Like, you can see a lot of the kind of older film, the way it was filmed. Whereas a movie like Forrest Gump, which I also watched this week, that transfer, for some reason, must have been filmed on, better quality, because the 4K version of that looks really sharp. And those movies are literally, like a year apart from each other?
Yeah.
So, you just never know. You just never know. But anyway, it's my rant about resolution. Frame rate. Give me 60. It's hard for me to play 30 right now. It's even harder to play 12, like Hyrule Warriors. The second Hyrule Warriors, hard on my face. Anyway, that's all I got. I don't have any more tweets. I don't have any more emails. I don't have any more news. Anybody else have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, if you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at N4G Podcast. If you want to follow me, it's at ZTGD. Ryan is at WombatRP. You can send us emails to podcasts at ztgd.com. Phoenix Down just started Yakuza Kiwami, which I thought was funny. I was like, is this Kiwami or is this Yakuza? He's like, let's just call it Yakuza. I'm like, but you're both playing Kiwami. So I'm going to call it Kiwami. Because it's not just Yakuza. There's upgrades. Kiwami. But anyway, you can check that out. First episode is live. I imagine that'll take them quite a few episodes to get through, because Yakuza games are stupid big. So, and I think that's it. I think everybody else left. I think I'm just talking to myself at this point.
Nope, you're not talking to yourself. I'm still here.
I figured you were wrapping up. What else am I going to add?
I don't know. Make me feel like I'm not just standing here.
Well, now you know how it fucking feels when I talk about my video games.
What's that? Anyway, we're out of here. Peace,
Hey, we're still here.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. Oh, you can...
It's me, Mario.
Zero tolerance.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat.
I always live being angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon.
Then I killed the dragon.